What is going down, Sourdough Squall? Yeehaw! We got another Prediction Friday coming to you, playoff edition. The Seattle Seahawks are coming to town. We got business to take care of. Not only is it Prediction Friday, the All-Pro list came out. We got to talk about that. Let's get this thing going. You already know the vibes. Smash that like button. Drop an SDS in the chat if you're vibing with your ginger boy. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. Oh, baby. You know what time it is. It's playoff time. Woo! Woo! Yeah, playoffs? Playoffs. I'm very much looking forward to it. It's going to be a wet one, but it is going to be one to remember. That is facts. Let's get into, before we get into our predictions, bold takes, what we think the outcome is going to be for this weekend. Let's talk about our all-pro 49ers. San Francisco 49ers are tied with 6 having the most all-pros in the NFL. We had some snubbery going on, but to be expected. It happens from time to time. We've come to, understand that there will be some snubbery, but that's okay. We got bigger fish to fry anyways, but let's talk and give our shout outs to the players that, of course, were very well deserving. 49ers, Nick Bosa, aka we riot if he's not defensive player of the year, is first team all pro. No surprise there, I would say. So that is absolutely fantastic news. Also, with Trent Williams, first team all pro, best left tackle to ever play the game. No shockers there. So congrats to both Nicky Bosa and Trent Williams for making first team all pro. Fred Warner, first team all pro. Not a surprise there. I think we all kind of expected that. Fred Warner is still considered the best linebacker in all of football. So that makes a whole lot of sense. And we got, stacking up the accolades. You have Talanoa Hufanga getting first team all pro, Pro Bowl nod. Like, have a year, Talanoa. Talk about 5th round draft pick, getting his first full season starting with the San Francisco 49ers. This guy gets first team all pro and a Pro Bowl nod. Woo! Shout out Talanoa, man. Shout out Talanoa. Shout out PFF, man. Shout out PFF for roasting me this offseason for saying that Talanoa Hufanga is going to have a good year. PFF looking more fraudulent as the days go by. PFF left Nick Bosa off their first team all-pro list. They just can't figure it out, man. It's all good. We understand that they are in the business of driving clicks. So shout out PFF. If you don't know, the gentleman over at PFF did an entire podcast segment on my tweet saying that I thought Talanoa Hufanga was going to have a good year. They did an entire segment on it. They weren't very happy that one, I said he was going to have a good year, and it got so much engagement. They're just like, They somehow took my Talanoa Hufanga tweet and somehow compared it to Trump. It was a wild segment. But I will say they took the L on that one. I'm coming out looking pretty damn good. So shout out our homies at PFF and roasting me on an entire podcast segment. We appreciate them. Second team All Pro, George Kittle. George Kittle gets second team All Pro. I don't have too many problems with that. Um, first team's going to go to Travis Kelsey, so I can live with George Kittle as second team All Pro. I kind of feel like until George Kittle had 11 touchdowns, first time he's hit double digit touchdowns in his career. I feel like until his stats just obliterate Travis Kelsey, he's going to be number two. He's number one in my book, and you guys know that. And he's always been number one because no one ever talks about George Kittle's blocking, and it's a shame because that's what playing tight end is. You are an inline blocker, and the way he is used as a blocker is more impactful than anyone else. And hey, we got an all-pro special teamer, George Odom. I mean, that's why he was brought here from the Colts, signed in free agency. I think he signed like a 3-year, $10 million deal, and all that good stuff. I thought it was pretty good. Jason said, Brad, did you watch the playoff hype video with Juice and Sherm? I caught that Juice said in that video that Brock was playing with broken ribs in week 15 game against Seattle. Ooh, I'm going to have to go check that out. It wouldn't be surprised me. I mean, the way they talked about it, the fact that they said they openly discussed how he went out on the field and he couldn't throw 10 to 15 yards, had to go back into the locker room and get an injection. And if you guys remember, I was at the stadium. I was in Seattle, and I was wondering like why he wasn't out there. And I got there a little late because shout out StubHub, they absolutely messed up my tickets, so they put me at a 20 minutes behind. But when I'm at the game, in Levi's, Brock Purdy takes advantage of pretty much the whole warm-up time, and he wasn't out there for that time, and it was Josh Johnson who was warming up and getting passes off. So I thought that was interesting that he wasn't out there, and we did find out that he had to go back into the locker room and get an injection so he could play that game. That's wild. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. But those are our 6 all pros. And again, if you're just joining us, we had George Odom. I don't know if he was first. I think he was second team. He was second team, special teamer. George Kittle, second team. First team, Talanoa. All pro Fred, all pro Trent, all pro Nick. No Juice. They left the fullbacks off the list this year. So that fullbacks get no love, man. No love. It's okay. It's all good. We know Juice is the best fullback in the NFL. He doesn't need I mean, it would be nice, but we know he's the best. There's no one touching Juice and what he brings to the table. So you got that going. Did you guys hear the news about Sean McVay? So it was rumored that Sean McVay was going to step away, and it kind of did sound like he was going to step away. It really felt like it was trending in that direction, but Sean McVay will be back. So Sean McVay returns to the Rams, our good old friends down south. I thought he was gone. I thought he was, but he's coming back. But it does sound like Jalen Ramsey could be on his way out. He put out a pretty cryptic not Facebook, Instagram caption, I believe it was. I wouldn't know. I'm blocked by Jalen Ramsey uh, on Instagram, so I never see what he's putting out there, and thank God. Um, but I do think he put out some type of like cryptic caption, basically alluding to that he will not be there or whatever it may be. So I'm trying to find it. I can't even find it. I saw it somewhere and I'm trying to trying to pull it up, but I'm blocked by Jalen. Oh no, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. He put it out on Twitter. Here we go. I'll show it to you guys because why not? Let's see. And this wasn't new. He blocked me in 2019 after the 49ers beat the Jaguars. And he was talking crazy about Jimmy Garoppolo. And I took all my followers and I sent them to his page. We ratioed the hell out of Jalen Ramsey because you remember he called Jimmy Garoppolo a system quarterback, and we ratioed the hell out of him. I sent all my followers on Instagram. I said, go to Jalen Ramsey's comments, and we ratioed the hell out of him. He blocked me after that, which makes sense. I get it. I probably would have blocked myself as well, but we were cooking them, and rightfully so. Hey, we stand up for our own. Could have just said nothing, but hey, he wanted to talk. Okay. And of course, Jalen's talking again. He goes on to say, "It is what it is. It is what it was." So profound, Jalen. He's like a miniature Buddha covered in hair. If that's the end, I went out with a bang. Still that. Oh my god, this guy makes me sick. Um, you tell me this. All right. Let me know. Would you want Jalen Ramsey in a 49er uniform? If he became available and somehow the 49ers had an opportunity to get their hands on Jalen Ramsey, would you want that? Would you want to see Jalen Ramsey in red and gold? Huh? Would you want to see that? Drop it in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling. I put out a poll on Instagram as well to see how my followers were feeling on IG, seeing if they were about it. Let me pull up the results here so far as you guys are getting it into the chat. Um, it won't let me show the. Anyways, I'll pull it up anyways. So as you can see, um, the results so far of our Instagram poll is we have easily over 500 votes. 54% say no, and then 46% say no. So I think that squares it away. So again, in case you missed it, 54% say no, and then 46% say no. So I think that's pretty definitive, right? Um, I am not giving anyone the opportunity to say they want Jalen Ramsey. I can't stand Jalen Ramsey, man. I can't. I cannot. He might be talented. He might be good, but I cannot stand that man. I just can't. So I wouldn't even give anyone the opportunity to say they wanted him. You can pick no or no. That's it. We don't want Jalen. No, thank you. I don't want that headache. We got a real cornerback one in Charvarius Ward. Humble, uh, you know, really doesn't even talk that much. like quiet, but he's a dog. I think that's the kind of players that we want. 49ers talk about it all the time. Like there's a specific type of character that they look for. And you'll hear them reference it all the time. Sometimes they will bring in a guy that maybe doesn't fit that mold. George Kittle says whenever they bring that guy in, they get him out quick because it doesn't vibe with what they got going there. So Jalen Ramsey may very well be a really good cornerback. I'll give him that, but his attitude is garbage, and I don't want that anywhere near this team. I would even just keep him in the NFC West. Put him on the Cardinals. Put him on the Seahawks. Like keep him in the West so we can keep roasting him. I love roasting Jalen Ramsey. It's a pastime of mine. At this point, I just don't like him. I don't like the way he goes about his business. Um, I have no problems with him being. I have plenty of respect for players that deserve respect. I just can't respect Jalen, and he rubs me the wrong way with how he goes about his business. Just not for me. So no, thank you to Jalen Ramsey. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. Uh, yeah, no, nope. So let's move on. It is. Let's get into some of our predictions and kind of look at some of the matchups that we got cooking up today with the Seattle Seahawks. So again, this is going to be the third time that the 49ers get to match up against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I want to ask you guys in the chat, do you see this third matchup being an issue? Like, I know I've heard a lot of people kind of mention like they don't like how it's the third time that the 49ers are matching up against the Seahawks, and I wanted to see if you guys felt that way as well. Like, do you think there is an issue that it is the third time? Does that give any type of advantage to the Seahawks? My personal thoughts are no. I really don't think it matters a whole lot because if you take a look at it, the first time the Seahawks played the 49ers was September 18th. September 18th feels like a lifetime ago. Not only does it feel like a lifetime ago, it was Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo, two quarterbacks that aren't going to play. So, so much changes over the course of a season that game was so long ago, might as well be preseason. And then you go to the week 15 game. It was on a short week. Yeah, apparently Brock Purdy had broken ribs, per Kyle Juszczyk. Um, I don't know if he was being factual or figurative in that, but I'll take a look at that. Jason pointed that out, so I'll take a look at that. But Juice apparently referenced Brock Purdy having broken ribs in that game. We'll see how true that is. But we did know that he had an oblique injury, and we did know he was in a lot of pain, and he almost missed that game. So, but that was December 15th. That was going to be almost literally a month ago. So I'm personally not concerned about like any type of. I think it was different last year because week 18 was against the Rams, and then the turnaround to the NFC Championship game was maybe a little closer. It was probably still about a month away. But even then, I think we all agree the 49ers should and could have won that game if they just did what they needed to do and took advantage of their ops. So I really don't think it's that big of a deal. If anything, we just know the opponent better. I think from a scheme standpoint, Kyle Shanahan is going to be able to still do a lot of different things that, I don't know if Seattle is quite ready for. We have a quarterback operating at a high level right now, and that really opens up the offense and the weapons that Kyle has. So I do think there's an opportunity that really isn't. Giants Niner fan says just watch the video with Lindsey and Juice. He said Purdy's ribs were broken. So, hey, there's a second source confirming that we've got apparently broken ribs from Brock Purdy. The legend of BCB continues to grow by the day. 49ers throwback says only way 49ers L in this game is if they beat themselves. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I think the 49ers have every opportunity to take care of this. And let's start this conversation, right, shall we? Because it's going to be it doesn't appear like we're going to be able to get away from it. We've gotten lucky the last couple times with the rain, but it does appear that the forecast is going to be a little crazy. So let me pull up Saturday's forecast. Um, and we'll talk about the weather a little bit. We'll do our best weatherman impressions. I'm not a meteorologist, so I just yep, it's raining. It's pretty much how I manage the weather. But let me get my head out the way. All right. So this is what we look. This is Saturday's forecast. You can see about kickoff time, it's going to be about 60% chance of rain. So I think it's going to rain. I think it is. I don't think and it's definitely going to rain early. You can see it's at 97 to 98% all throughout the early morning. Maybe tapers off a little bit. But I don't see a 0 percentage on this. This looks like there's no less than a 40, like what, I would say a 60, there's no less than a 60% chance of rain during game time. So we're ready. It's gonna be wet, it's gonna be wild and all that good stuff. I believe I am on Saturday. So yeah, I'm on Saturday. I'm not on Friday. We're on Saturday. So this is about the window that the game will be played, maybe a little bit over here. So 10 a.m. They start getting onto the field probably around what 11:30, 11. So they're going to be on the field about here to start their pregame warm up. That's when they do their stretching. They get initially warm. They kind of run around, throw a little bit, and then they go back into the locker room. Then they come back out dressed, and then they do their kind of pregame, like go through individuals. They do team, and that's right about like 45 minutes before kickoff. And then they go back into the locker room. And that's probably an opportunity where they can change their cleats if they want to, change their spikes, maybe retape if they need to. And then they get ready for, I believe we got like what, a 1:30 kickoff. So right about here is when the 49ers are going to be kicking off this game. So there's going to be some weather. So I hope you're prepared for it. So that's what we got. That's what we got weather-wise. Boomerat says, Brad, you going to this game? I am officially booked. This ginger beard will be sitting in the monsoon. Um, Unfortunately, I got invited to go to the 49ers gold mine. I don't know if you guys know what the gold mine is. They have this cool section on one of the concourses where my guy Nick Clark with the 49ers, senior manager of fan engagement, he runs this little gold mine section. And so they invite people to the games. I'm bringing my son with me, and I wasn't. He's never done a rain game, and he just turned 10 today. 10 is today is his 10th birthday. So special shout out to you, Roman. Um, so far, so far he's undefeated. He's undefeated. 2019 NFC Championship game and Week 15 in Seattle. So he's been to some big games. Hasn't been to many games. He's been to some big games. Never lost. So we're bringing him def a little birthday treat for Roman. Um, but I wasn't. I didn't want to take that chance of because it's out in the open. It's in the It's in the open concourse, like right in the middle of all the elements. And it was a great opportunity, and I appreciate Nick for inviting me. But I was like, you know what? I want to go to this game, but I got a trick for rain games. So I went to my spot. We got my spot. We should be out of the rain. So we're going to be okay, but we're going to be at the game. Should be staying dry. So those two things are a must. So I'll be there. He will be there. So we're bringing as much good energy and good vibes as we can, and we're gonna keep testing the theory of his undefeated glory. Um, I only have one loss. Wait, let me double check that. I think I might only have one loss at Levi's. No, that's a lie. I have two losses. I was at the Chiefs game. Yeah, that Chiefs game was gross. Chiefs. I had Chiefs loss and week 3 Green Bay Packers. So I got two. I got two L's on my record, but I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm 11-2. I'm 11-2 at Levi's Stadium. That's a pretty good record. All right. That's pretty good. Since 2017, 11-2. No, that's a lie. 11, 12, 13. I'm 14-2. 14-2. There we go. So, still not bad. This is pretty good record. Pretty good record. I'll take it. Over since 2017, 14-2. That's a pretty good record. So we can't be and that we got. I went to the first win in 2017, so we got the dub against the Giants, the first win of the year. I think we're lost 9 games in a row. Got that dub, so we're all right. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be good. Oh God. Uh, all right. Let's get into some of these matchups. I appreciate everyone wishing Roman a happy birthday. I'm gonna tell him to come back and look at that. So appreciate you guys. Um, all right. Let me pull up our roster and let's look at the matchup, shall we? Sean says, "Hey, Brad, when you get a chance, check out my previous comment." Where's your previous comment? Oh, Let's go. My island boy. My island boy. My big boy, Sean, creator of Trench Tuesdays, says not going to be catching any more live shows, Brad. Going to first shift next week. Gonna have to catch replays. Just wanted to thank you. You have got me through so many hard times. SDS Ohana. My boy, Sean, your vibes have been freaking immaculate from the start. And I know what it is. You got to get your money, man. I got you got to put in the work. And so we respect it 100%. And I respect you for always showing up, always bringing the vibes, always bringing the island vibes. Appreciate my boy out there in Hawaii, man. Always love having you in the streams. I mean, you've been one of the OG SDS. I mean, we're talking what, like 2 years now, Sean, that you've been vibing with me. So 100%, brother, you're going to be missed in these lives. We're gonna keep your spirit alive. I promise you. We're gonna keep the island boy vibing in here, even if he's got to catch the replays, because you are absolutely OG SDS. So, and I'm glad that whatever you may have been going through, we could maybe uh, pull away from that a little bit, because honestly, you guys have gotten me through some really hard times. So your vibes and your energy has gotten me through some hard times. So I'm glad that we can reciprocate that energy. And I wish nothing but the best for you, Sean. Hopefully you get to stick around for this live. But I also understand, get that paper, boo boo. Get that money. I know what it is. We gotta support ourselves and our families. So I know what it is. And I believe you when you say you're going to catch the replays, man. You're in here day in, day out, and I appreciate you. Just want to send some love to you, man. You deserve it. I really appreciate my island boy. Love you, brother. Um, so my guy, my guy's gonna be kicking it. We'll get some little sneak shout outs to our island boy in the lives, just so he can know we're thinking about him when he's watching the replays. Uh, but Sean, you tell me what you're thinking, man. With this matchup, San Francisco 49ers defense, you've got Javon Kinlaw back. You've got Kevin Givens back. You got Eric Armstead back. Nick Bosa, defensive player of the year. We freaking riot. Samson Ebukam doing pretty damn good himself. Charles Omenihu, second in the team in quarterback hits. T.Y. McGill stepping up. Michael Dumfor stepping up. Defensive line at full strength for the first time this season, and it comes in the playoffs. Playoffs? Yes, the playoffs. The 49ers' strongest position group, who had been Jordan Willis. That's how strong it is that I forget Jordan Willis freaking exists as well. Like, guys, we always talk about this defensive line group and how strong it is, and like how deep it is, and how like the entire defense is built off the foundation of the defensive line. And for the entire season that we have had the number one ranked defense in a ton of major statistical categories, we are finally getting a full 100% healthy defensive line. And we've added to it. So insane. I expect this defensive line to do work. Their offensive line is adequate. I like their offensive line. They're young, on the edges. You guys, I've said this story many times. Abe Lucas is one of my all-time favorite draft crushes. I love Abe Lucas. He is going to be a top tackle in this league for decade plus. It sucks that he has to be playing for the Cardinals, but Abe Lucas is him. He is going to be arguably, potentially, a generational right tackle. We're going to be talking about Abe Lucas like Lane Johnson eventually. I can guarantee it. Also, too, when you look at the opposite side and you look at Charles Cross has that potential to be a very, very, very good offensive tackle in this league, and he's already really good this year. So they have two good bookend tackles, right? They do, but I would say their weakest is on the interior. Now, Gabe Jackson, he's a pretty darn good interior offensive guard. Damian Lewis, adequate. Austin Beth, whatever his name is, adequate. So they can uphold. They can withstand a storm, but it's going to take I don't think they're going to be able to do it every snap, play in, play out. I think they're going because when they're just throwing this rotation of defensive linemen over and over and over again, fresh body after fresh body, it is going to wear down this offensive line. And we know this particular game, I think almost more so than any other game this year, especially playing styles taken into consideration, is going to be won in the trenches. This is a trench game. If you like trench warfare, I mean, I got to rock the O-line mastermind shirt just for this. Like, this is going to be a trench game. Whoever trenches wins is going to win this game. Whoever's defensive line is going to dominate the O line. Whoever's O line is going to dominate the defensive line. This is trench warfare, torrential downpour. Not going to be passing as much. Both teams want to run the football. This is OG trench warfare. Like, we're going to get a little bit of a throwback game, I think. I think this game is going to stay on the ground from both teams, but it is really going to come down to which team is going to own the line of scrimmage. And those are my favorite types of games. So I would tip the scales towards the 49ers. I mean, it would just be and that's really not being biased and trying to really take as much fandom out of it. Obviously, we're a Niner channel, so we are going to tip the scales towards the 49ers always, but trying to be as objective as possible. Like, this defensive line is as healthy as possible as it's been all year. And Eric Armstead's back, he's acclimated. Javon Kinlaw's getting back, he's acclimated. Kevin Givens gets added into the mix. Now you're going to start seeing these crazy rotations. Hopefully Drake Jackson. We don't know if Drake, like, the 49ers have been so healthy that they've had to put Drake Jackson as an inactive. And Drake Jackson has made an impact this year. That's how healthy they are on the defensive line. So it is going to be really interesting to see what comes of it. Hey, shout out Don Burr. Shout out Donnie. Hey, Donnie. Hey, Donnie. Good job this year, man. Good job this year. Shout out the Lions, man. How can you not be happy for the Lions? Like, we're all Lions fans right now. Taking care of Aaron Rodgers, bro, knocking him out the playoffs, probably ending his career with the Packers. Shout out the Lions, man. Shout out Dan Campbell. Shout out my boy Jared Goffey. I'm always going to be a Goffey boy. Goff's my guy. I'm a Cal guy, so I watched Goff all 4 years, man, or 3 years, or however many years he played at Cal. So Goff's always got a spot in my heart. Amon-Ra St. Brown, absolute one of my favorite draft crushes from the year he came out. Everyone was sleeping on Amon-Ra. I always said, y'all are sleeping on Amon-Ra St. Brown. This man can do literally everything. Just because he's short, y'all sleeping on this man. Do not sleep on this man. Amon-Ra St. Brown is becoming one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. The offensive line, phenomenal. That rookie that you guys have, James Houston, with Aiden. Shout out the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions are going to be a problem next year. So we tip our cap to Donnie Burr, chat legend, and the Lions. Just want to show love for Donnie B. Don Burr. What a legend. Um, so back to the Seahawks matchup though. Um, I do think that the 49ers defense still has an advantage in this matchup against this offense. Now, fun little quarterback matchup here we got, right? Like when we're looking at Geno Smith, and I think it's hilarious that Geno Smith broke the franchise record for passing yards in a single season in his first year with the Seattle Seahawks with Russell Wilson being there all that time, and Geno Smith comes in and absolutely takes care of business. Uh, hey, got to give some credit to him. I mean, the man completed 69.8% of his passes threw for nearly 4,300 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Um, that's not bad. Not bad, right? But even though Geno Smith is 32 years old, it's his first playoff game. Guess who else's first playoff game it is? It's Brock Purdy's first playoff game. So, although two extremely different career archetypes and where they've landed and how they've gotten there, still a first playoff start for both Geno and Brock. So, it is going to be interesting to see how Geno handles this moment. Does he rise to the occasion? Does maybe the speed of playoff football, I don't know, deter Geno a little bit? Does the pressure, is he playing with house money? It's going to be interesting to see how Geno does. Um, he hasn't done all that well against the 49ers, at least the last two matchups. The 49ers have absolutely suffocated him when it comes to creating pressure and forcing the ball out. And, Geno Smith did a really good job of that week 15. He got the ball out, right? The ball he was able to get it out of his hands, but a lot of those footballs went into the dirt because he was trying to throw out of sacks. So, gonna be interesting to see how he performs. But again, I do think this game for the Seahawks, they're gonna have to rely on Kenneth Walker. And shout out Kenneth Walker, man. Another one of my draft crushes. That's why I absolutely hate the Seahawks, man. They just take all the players that I like and they force me to just have an internal battle because I like the player. If you guys know anything about me, um, if you're a draft crush of mine, I'm a fan of you regardless of what team you're on. It makes it harder to be a fan of you, but I'm still a fan of you. Like I still really like Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker also won me a fantasy championship because I knew who he was and I took a shot on drafting him. So I love Kenneth Walker. I hate that he's on the Seattle Seahawks. He is going to be a formidable opponent that we're going to have to stop. He was able to rush for 1,000 yards this year. He's running at 4.6 a clip. He also added 27 receptions for 165 yards. So he can do it both. And also you have to remember, he really didn't get started. He I think one of his first games was for against the 49ers week 2 because he had that sports hernia. So in the offseason, Kenneth Walker had a sports hernia. He missed all of training camp. Um, I think his first game was actually against the 49ers. He didn't start all 15 games that he played in. He only started 11. And it was Rashad Penny at first. So Kenneth Walker has been heating up towards the end. So he's the guy, I think. DK Metcalf, he's going to match up with Mooney Ward. And we saw what happened, last time. And I also think the rain might mitigate them wanting to throw as much. And so I think they're really going to try to get it going with Kenneth Walker on the ground. I mean, Tyler Lockett, we know what he can do. He's a great wide receiver. DK Metcalf, I don't like DK a whole lot, but got to give credit where credit's due. He's a good wide receiver. Noah Fant has ability, just hasn't really done it consistently. So they have weapons that they can get to in the passing game, but it will be interesting to see how it all ultimately plays out. Um, I still take the 49ers offense in this matchup. If I had to pick one, I'm definitely still leaning 49ers defense here. But let's get into some of our defensive players of the game. So, who is going to be the defensive player of the game against the Seattle Seahawks? Are we going to get another Mooney Ward masterclass against DK Metcalf? Are we going to get Nick Bosa going crazy because he missed out on the record and he's just maybe not sitting well? Is it going to be maybe Fred Warner? Does Talanoa Hufanga show up and get some turnovers? We haven't had a Talanoa Hufanga turnover in a while. I think he's due. Tashawn Gibson, he's been getting all the turnovers so far. Maybe Jimmy Ward, Trey Greenlaw. So there's a lot of players. So drop in the chat who you guys think is going to be the 49ers defensive player of the game against the Seahawks. Also, with defensive player of the game, let me know bold takes. Bold takes as well. Bold, hot takes. We don't got time for no mediocre takes. We need the boldest of bold for the 49ers defense. Drop it in the chat. Let's see what you guys are cooking up. I'm going to sit back, get cozy, comfortable. Ooh. All right, let's see what we got. Get this thing all situated. There we go. Right off the bat, Jason says Dre. This is a Dre Greenlaw game. Dre Greenlaw got snubbed. One vote away from being all pro second team. Didn't get it. J-Tan wants to get DK frustrated. Bosa, 4 sacks. Greenlaw, Bosa. Roman says Eric's going to stop the run. I think that is a highly likely outcome. Eric versus guards is just a mismatch. Greenlaw. Big play Dre. So a lot of Dre. Oh, there we go. The Seahawk. It makes sense. Dre Greenlaw, the Seahawk killer. Fred Warner, Greenlaw. You got to be specific with the wards because we got 2 wards. I would assume this is Mooney Ward, but that's just guessing. We got Mooney Ward, 2 interceptions. Bosa is an incredible player. That's very true. Greenlaw going to be back at it. That's right. We're going to get Greenlaw back. It's Seattle, so it's Greenlaw. Bosa going to smash quarterbacks all game. Dre Greenlaw, the Sea Chicken Killer. Eric goes crazy in the playoffs. He does. My Nigerian brothers, Ebukam and Omenahue. Both those guys have been balling this year. Charles Omenahue is probably one of the most underrated players on the 49ers for impact. His impact doesn't match his stats. I mean, if you pull up pressures, the pressures are going to be there. But Omenahue was like fingertips away from like 10 sacks this year. It's crazy how often Omenahue was around the quarterback creating havoc. Uh, really has been a phenomenal addition. Big Papa says Bosa needs a bunch more squishies. If you don't understand the reference, Nick Bosa calls sacks squishies, or his mom calls them squishies in their house, apparently. I don't know. Something tells me Nick and Eric Eaton, Armstead, playoff Bosa is showing up. Warner, he is in his territory. Armstead. Seahawks offensive line will have a tough time on slippery turf blocking Bosa. Bosa gonna boss with constant pressure and multiple sacks. Jimmy Ward getting a pick off Lockett. Ooh, I like that one. A Hufanga with a pick. Shut up, those PFF fools. Omenahue. We have Greenlaw just plays this team well, so I'm going Greenlaw. Electric Lizard has said big play Dre like 40 times. Ron's calling for Jordan Willis. I like that one. That's a sneaky one. Charles says, I think Lenore is going to step up and surprise us all. Hey, man, this is the playoffs. This is where you have the opportunity to put everything in the regular season behind you, and literally you can create a legacy off one play, positive or negative. So that's the impact of these playoff games, and we've seen it, especially with the San Francisco 49ers. Any player has an opportunity to solidify or build a legacy starting in the playoffs. And, Lenore's gotten some heat this year, but all it takes is one big play, becomes a legend. So anything can happen. Let's see. Jason says Bosa 2 sacks. Jordan Willis gets a strip sack for the second week in a row. Gibson gets a pick 6 and forced fumble. Demo locks down his first playoff 6.5 sacks for Nick Bosa. That would probably be a playoff record. I would imagine. Be up there. I like that bold take. Sea Chickens limited to 6 points on field goals. Trey Greenlaw, 3 interceptions, 1 forced fumble. Woo! Talk about a bold take. That's hey, I asked for bold takes. He gave it to me. I like it. Bosa racks 4 sacks, and 1 is a strip with a scoop and score. Let's go. Willis with a strip sack, scoop and score. Seahawks O-line got to get drug tested. Gino's going to try to force the ball to Metcalf, probably. 2 for a loss, 1 interception, 1 fumble cause, and a recovery. Let's see. Kinlaw will have 2 sacks. Mooney. Defense keeps the Sea Chickens out of the end zone this game. Ooh, that would be wild. Fred Warner, peanut punch. Demo 2 picks, takes 1 to the house. Ooh. Well, I like the Demo energy. Definitely like the Demo energy. Kinlaw down the middle for 3 sacks. Okay. Omenahue, Gibson pick 6, Greenlaw, Eric strip sack, fumble recovery, Kevin Givens fumble, takes it back for 6. Oh, this is the key to victory. Like if you kept Kenneth Walker to 35 rushing yards, I would probably say I would put like the percentage chance 49ers win at like 99%. If Walker goes for 35, to me, that's how you win this game. You neutralize Walker. If you take Walker out this game, they should be able to manage pretty much anything else. Ward gets a pick. Which one? Don't know. I like how you did that there. Fred Warner player of the game. Warner player of the game. Jordan Willis, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble. We hold them under 200 yards. Cheyenne's been calling for her all-pro Fred Warner pick 6 for a couple weeks now. I think it's time. think it's time that we get it. Hey, I feel it. I see you out here vibing, big play Dre. You're all good. You are all good. Peyton wants a Bosa interception. Let's go. Mooney overdue for a interception. I agree. I think so too. Bosa interception. Uh Syed says, talk me out of the Seahawks upset. I'm feeling nervous. So we kind of previewed this a little bit earlier, right? We're talking about how I really believe this is going to be a game that's won on the ground. I think it's going to be a trench warfare type game. And if you look at the trenches, I think the 49ers have the advantage in both those categories. Aaron Banks is going to be coming back on the offensive side. And so I think that's going to bring some more continuity. I think, you know, for how much we love Brunskill, he did have a couple blown assignments. At least I perceive them as blown assignments. I don't know if they were. Um, but I think, maybe getting Banks back will kind of, one, just give him a breather and be able to get him back at left guard. I think the 49ers own the line of scrimmage. I think they win on both sides. So, and because I do believe this game is going to be heavy on the ground, that is going to be a big decider of this game. So that's where my confidence is coming from. Also, too, Brock Purdy has been phenomenal up until this point, and I got a lot of confidence in him. So that is where my confidence is coming from. Hopefully, I talked you off the ledge a little bit. So that's what we got for the defense. That's some of our defensive bold takes and defensive players of the game. My defensive player of the game, you guys, a lot. I would say Dre Greenlaw won that round. Let's see. 49ers defensive player of the game. I'm gonna go with Talanoa. I think I think we've had, Talanoa's let some things behind him a little bit. I know he hasn't got a turnover in a while, but it's time. It's time for a Hubanga type game. So I'm going Hubanga. We'll see. But Dre Greenlaw definitely could be up for a huge game. I feel like it's Hufanga that he doesn't need to step up per se, but I think he could step up. And I think we could see him playing more around the line of scrimmage, and kind of in that type of role. So it'll be interesting to see how that all works out. But let's take a look at the 49, not the 49, the Cardinals defense. So Uchenna Nwosu is their best edge player. I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. Uh, Mike McGlinchey owned Nwosu week 15. So if their best edge player is getting owned by Mike McGlinchey, I think that puts the 49ers in a really good spot. Shelby Harris is decent. Al Woods is decent. Poona Ford is decent. I do think they're beatable. I'm not afraid of their defensive line. I think their defensive line, you can poke holes in it. I think they can be blocked. I'm not too concerned at all. Bruce Irvin, not really concerned about Bruce Irvin. Boye Mafe, I think he's been a little bit of a disappointment this year. Uh, at least based on the hype that Boye Mafe had coming out. I don't think he's necessarily been that great of a player, at least from what I've seen on tape against the 49ers. Um, and, their best player, Jordan Brooks, arguably their best player, Jordan Brooks, middle linebacker, he's out. So That I think is going to be a big. I mean, Jordan Brooks had 161 tackles. That damn near might be up there with leading the league in tackles. So no Jordan Brooks. Um, he is going to he went on IR. So that's definitely a big loss for them. And I think could make the middle of the field somewhat susceptible because Tanner Muse, former Clemson guy, I don't think he's I don't think he's that great. If that's who they're really going to play. We know Nick Ballore, but he's more of a special teams guy. So I think the 49ers could pick on their linebackers, especially if you're going to get guys going over the middle like Kittle, Ayuk, Jennings, Debo. Like for the guys who feast over the middle, I feel like that's where you attack this defense. You attack the middle, the short to intermediate in the middle. Oh, that's right. I forgot they had Jonathan Abram. Jonathan Abram hasn't done a whole much. Quandre Diggs is good. Quandre Diggs is a good player. He dropped the interception. If you guys don't remember, um, so there, and of course Tyreek Woolen, pretty good. Michael Jackson's been pretty good as well. They have decent secondary, but I think their front seven can be taken advantage of. And so in a game like this, where I do think that the front the trenches is going to be a huge impact. I think the 49ers can win this game on the ground, and they can do a lot with checkdowns. They can do a lot with choice routes, Texas routes, hitting guys out of the backfield, trying to scheme up mismatches on linebackers, try to get linebackers covering Debo, trying to get linebackers covering CMC, trying to get linebackers on George Kittle. I feel like you got to attack their linebackers. I think you got to attack the weakest part of their defense. And I think that's going to be the middle of the field. And we've seen Brock Purdy can take advantage of that. So that's how I see, like, if we had to attack a certain position group, I'm attacking the linebackers, and I'm attacking them with short to intermediate routes. I'm attacking them with constant. I'm going to get the screen game going early. I'm going to just get dump offs to Mitchell, to CMC, to Debo. I'm going to let those guys work. Get Kittle involved. That's how I'm going to get those guys involved. So I think the 49ers have an opportunity here. So let's do this. Let's drop in the chat who you guys think the offensive player of the game is going to be. Now, you got a lot of options. Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuel, Elijah Mitchell had 2 touchdowns last week. You've got CMC. You've got Purdy. You've got you could call out the offensive line if you want. Kittle, of course. There is a lot of weapons on this roster, and there's a lot of ways that they can get after this team. So drop who you think your offensive players of the game are going to be, and also give me some bold stat lines. Give me like what you think, who's gonna pop off, and then I'll tell you who I think is gonna pop off. But first, we have Chris saying Kittle will eat. Um, so he believes Kittle is gonna feast. And he also says CMC. Chris says probably CMC. Jason says Elijah Mitchell. This could be. Elijah Mitchell is running tough last week. So if we're going to keep this on the ground and keep it in between the tackles, Elijah could definitely have another one of those 2 touchdown games, especially if CMC does all the work, in between the 20s, and then they get in the red zone and they start pounding Elijah down there. That could definitely be the case. Boomerat says Kittle plays Sea Chicken. Sea Chicken's great. CMC, GK, CMC. He will have 150 total yards and 2 touchdowns. Sue's saying George. George is saying George. Ayuk, CMC. We got our first Debo. We need a Debo game. I don't know if it's going to be this game, but we need a Debo game soon. It's been a while. Kittle, 3 touchdowns, 169 yards. Mitchell eats for 200 yards and 2 tugs. Ooh, we finally get our Ray Ray return touchdown. Ooh, another Ray Ray. Ayuk. CMC, Elijah, Mason. Basically, the entire running back room is going to be the player of the game, according to Tyler. Elijah, Eli, the CMC Mitchell tandem. CMC, it really does feel like these running backs can feast, and that includes Jordan Mason as well. Like the 1, 2, 3 punch of CMC, Mitchell, Jordan Mason, and you're just rotating fresh legs at their fresh legs at their fresh legs, and you got these linebackers gassed. That really does feel like a way. That's how I would attack this defense. I would be scheming up these linebackers until their head was spinning. That's how I would handle it. Trent Williams, we got to get Trent. I think David Lombardi posted a video of Trent and Purdy playing catch. Got me a little excited. Dirty Purdy, offensive player of the game, CMC and Mitchell. I think this is Purdy. Purdy, because of weather, he gets his 3 with 1 on the ground. All pro Trent with the TD reception. Cheyenne says, I know it's going to stay on the ground, but I think it's a 3rd and Jawan type game. Oh, ooh. You want to attack someone over the middle. Jawan is a great option. Dwelly has been, that's a bold one because Dwelly, I can't remember the last time I seen Dwelly out on the field. It's been a long time. Dwelly has definitely been relegated to 4-string tight end. He's like 4-string tight end, emergency fullback. Croft is definitely tight end too, and then they bring in Warner for 3 tight end sets. I haven't seen Dwelly for a long time. CMC and Kittle, which is crazy because last year in 2021, I thought like I had never been like a huge Dwelly guy, but he looks so much bigger and stronger in training camp. I thought he was going to ball out, but he couldn't block. And then he lost his job to Warner. And then they bring in Croft. And then he just fell down the depth chart. Ayuk, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. That would be crazy. CMC, 130 yards. All our weapons would be used, but Juice comes to mind. Surprise attack. Okay. Kittle, CMC, 150 all-purpose yards, 2 touchdowns, and a vulture one by Jordan Mason. Travis says CMC, 60 rushing touchdowns, 50 receiving, MVP. Ryan says CMC is going to go nuclear in the postseason. Cynthia, Elijah, Kittle, CMC. 3rd and Jawan, 5 for 85, 2 touchdowns. I like that stat line. That's a good one. Jennings, it could be Debo. Mitchell, 2 touchdowns, 100 yards. Ayuk, Elijah, and CMC over 100 yards. Elijah, 125. CMC, 3 touchdowns. Kittle, Samuel, Mitchell, and CMC all get touchdowns. Oh, we got 3 touchdowns. That's a bold take right there. Debo, Samuel, 3 tutties. I'm not going to lie. I love saying tuggies instead of tutties. That's just me, though. We have hard to choose. So many weapons, but I'm choosing Kittle, JP, BA, CMC, Mitchell, Mason, McCaffrey, CMC, Mitchell tandem, 2 touchdowns each. I could definitely see that. CMC and Eli are going to be equally good. The game's straight scariest running duo. Dude, talk about getting healthy at the right time. Debo needs to. It's wild that Debo is like the forgotten piece right now. Like Debo is the like nice to have. Like, Debo's. We got Debo too. Like that's crazy. Like the 49ers are freaking stacked, man. Debo's going to show out in the NFC Championship game. Debo coming back hard. Jennings is a gem. 1 touchdown, 45 yards. Ooh, I like that one. Mitchell relives Mostert's NFC Championship game. Hell, just someone go crazy on the ground. I really don't care who it is. Kittle in the running game. Brock throws a playoff bomb. See, that's one thing that's sneaky is if we get him like sucked up into the run game, we know Brock can hit the play action. You get you just pound, 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 play action boot, deep ball to Ayuk, Kittle, whoever. Like keep that in your back pocket, man. Like if they're just gashing them in between the tackles. Then you suck up the defense. You run a play action boot, get the guys behind the coverage, just chuck up a bomb, even in the rain. Purdy could do it. Juice, 1 reception touchdown, one rush touchdown. Oh, 2 touchdowns. I've been leading the Ray run back. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Brandon Ayukin, 2 touchdowns, 103 receiving yards. Very specific. I like specifics. Ward is DK's father. Has nothing to do with offensive predictions, but I will allow it. Boomer Rat says Trent will score this playoffs. Man, I hope so. The O line, there we go. Got some O line love. Purdy gonna put up 30. Let's see. George Krieger Kittle, he plays the best against the Hawks. He does play good against the Hawks. Remember Chase Harrell? I kind of do. Oh, Chase Harrell. Why do I want to say he's a quarterback, but I also want to say he was a defensive end? Was he the D end? Was he the tight end converted D end? Chase Harrell. Chase Harrell. Chase Harrell. Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. The former Arkansas guy. Oh yeah, that's right. He got suspended. That's right. He looked like a freak. I actually was 111 back from suspension. That was 2 days ago. So he's not suspended. He spent time on the 49ers practice squad. He's not on any team, is he? But he's off suspension. I remember Chase Harrell 100%. I thought he was raw. I think he was a tight end. They converted him to D end. Or no, he was a D end. They converted him to tight end. That's what it was. Yes, I remember Chase Harrell. I remember that guy. Just came off suspension. Ray, BA, Debo going off. Okay, I think we got through a bunch. I got distracted by Chase Harrell. Okay, let's do our. I'll do my offensive player of the game. I do believe that it is going to be I like the running back room. I'm going to take the entire running back room as my player of the game. I'm going to take CMC, Mitchell, Mason, all of them. Hell, even TDP. Those guys are going to be my players of the game. I really do think they're going to be heavily involved in both the run and passing game. Um, I'm definitely going those guys as my offensive players of the game. But it is now time for us to do what we really need to do. It is prediction time. But before we do that, if you haven't liked that like button yet, get her done. Like up the stream before we get into our final predictions. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Smash that like button. Everyone mosey their mouse on over and just doop, smash that like button. Get your fingers all warmed up, whether you're typing, whether you're thumbing it, whatever one it is. Get limber, get loose. And now it is time. Now that you've liked the stream, now drop your score predictions in the chat. I want to see. Is this a blowout? Is this a dogfight? Is this what are we thinking here for score predictions? It is your turn to drop the score predictions in the chat and let me know what the vibe is. I am very curious to see because there's a lot of nerves heading into this game, man. This is playoff time. It's one and done time. There's no times for we'll get him next week. Nope, none of that. There's no next week. It's this game only. The only thing that we can be focused on is this matchup against the Seattle Seahawks coming to Santa Clara to play in the rain. What's going to happen? What's the score going to be? Is it going to be a blowout, a whooping, or is it going to be a drag out, clawed out, just gritty, ugly game? I think there's a wide range of potential for this game. I think it could go multiple different ways. I'm not faulting anyone on how they feel of where this game is going to go because anything can happen. And we are going to start off first. You already know the vibes. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Jason, I think I saw your message. Yeah, DM me. I'll try to remember to get to it, but yeah, just DM me. We're going to start off with Jesus. Just win. Every time I ask him for a score prediction, this is what he says. And since he said it, we haven't lost yet. So we got to keep this rolling, and it's fitting that we're going to get him right here at the top. Boomerat comes in right after that with 49-13, 27-13. So we go from a blowout to a closer score. Then we go back to a blowout, 33-13. Appreciate you, my guy, for smashing that like button. Then we go 34-17. Niners win and one game closer. Gosh, could you imagine a 6 Lombardi? I can't look ahead. We got to take care of the Seahawks first. Can't get too crazy. Tyler says 38-10. Niners beat the Sea Chickens. John says 24-10. Peter 27-10. Diego 30-10. 34-10. So this seems like we're feeling pretty confident. We're feeling pretty confident here. 31-10, a little bit closer, 27-17. I see that we're also kind of keeping the trend alive of the 49ers offense scoring more than 30 points with Brock Purdy at the helm. 32-12, 33-17, 28-17. Shout out Mariah, 49ers content creator. Shoot her a follow or a sub if you haven't already. 31-20. I like that one. I do. Travis 20-6. Ariel 28-10. Joseph 30-17. We got 31-17. Niners move on. So I'm not gonna lie. You guys are pretty confident. I was expecting a little bit more hesitancy. I'm not gonna lie. 24-16, 24-7. See, I was expecting more like this range. 24-17s back to back with the 24-16 and then a 28-20. Like that's kind of where I was anticipating, but you guys seem pretty confident. I like your confidence. Roman says I don't like predicting anymore. 28-17, 35-10, 32-13, 31-10, 41-13. 24-17. Joshua's keeping the blowout streak alive. Oh, look at Joshua and Jason. J and J almost in lockstep with one another. Kevin says 31-17, 27-17, 28-13. Yeah, we got a confident group here. Okay. I don't see any nerves from this group. I don't see any nerves. You guys are cooking. We got a 24-20, two 24-20s back to back, 35-2. So someone gets they only score on a safety. That would be nuts. 24-3, 24-16. This game will be in the trenches. Preach. 38-14. 28-13. Kittle, Ayuk receiving touchdowns. Eli CMC rushing touchdowns. 54-24. Need that unfiltered Warner pregame speech ASAP. 33-3, 21-9, 28-17. Let's see, 38-17, 27-17. So you guys are pretty confident. Not gonna lie, I was expecting more nerves, but you guys seem pretty ready to go. Y'all seem pretty confident. I'll take it. I'll take your confidence. I mean, should be confident. Definitely no reason not to be confident. Oh, the Chiefs guy's back. All right. So if I had to give a score prediction, the 49ers, since Brock Purdy has came in, they haven't scored under 30. I don't know if it's going to be that high scoring of a game. Definitely feels like a ground control type game to me. Feels like whoever also like controls the clock is going to do a really good job of winning this game. For me, it's going to be a little bit closer. I do think they break the 20-point threshold, so I'm going to sit at about. Oh, I mean, they've been scoring a lot. They really have. I'm kind of feeling 3 touchdowns, potentially 2 field goals. So I'm going to go 27. So that's 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals. So scoring on 5 possessions, 27 to, I'm going to go 27-14. I think that's where I'm going to sit right there. 27-14. I think the 49ers should win this game. They're the better team, and I don't think there's too much debate about that. But the 49ers got to do what they got to do. They got to play as mistake-free football as possible. They got to really limit turnovers. I really think that's the only way that Seattle gets into this game is if they can get on the lucky side of things, get a couple lucky turnovers, not lucky, but poorly timed penalties for the 49ers, things like that. More opportunistic type plays. So I do think the 49ers, they play their game, play a clean game. There's no reason why they should lose this. And I do think it'll be a little bit more ground and pound. So I've got 28-14, or no, I said 27-14. And also the running back room is going to be the offensive player of the game. And I'm looking for a big Huff game. Looking for a Hufanga redemption game in the playoffs. Kind of pick back up where he left off at the beginning of the year. So that's kind of where I'm looking like. It's going to be a wild game, man. We have the game tomorrow. Game's tomorrow. Woo. So I'll be there. We're going to weather the storm, head into the eye of the storm, and get ready for some playoff football. Anything can happen any given Sunday. It's going to be crazy, man. It's here. It's finally here. Playoff football. It's one and done season. If you don't play your brand. So going to be big time. Got to be big time. I think the 49ers should win this game. But it's going to be a wild one. It's got to be a wild one. Appreciate all you guys as always for tapping in on Prediction Friday. This is not going to be our last Prediction Friday. No, sirree. It will not be the last Prediction Friday. It can't. I'm confident, but I'm knocking on wood. I don't care. I'm not jinxing this. We're going to be back next Friday, I promise. For sure. So, all right, Jason, I'll try to keep a look. Let me pull it up now just so I have it because I will forget. Okay. There it is. Okay, cool. So I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you as always for vibing with me. Our first playoff prediction Friday won't be our last. Big one against Seattle. Whew. We got some demons to exercise. It's going to be a fun one. Appreciate all you guys as always for tapping in. We got a Seahawks fan in the chat. How fitting. Make sure you smash that like button on your way out if you haven't already. Shout out the entire Sourdough Squad. And appreciate you guys, as always, for vibing with the channel. Grab your cookies on the way out. It's cookie season, baby. And we're the Cookie Monsters. Let's go. Appreciate you guys. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it.